Good evening. Today is November 9th, 2017. The time is 7:08 or 19:08. This is the monthly meeting of the Beech Grove Redevelopment Commission. I will ask our members, starting on my right, to introduce themselves.
Kathy Chappell, Secretary.
Ron Moat, Vice President.
Jay Oswald, member.
Al Webb, President. Tonight, let's start off with the meeting minutes from last month. Are there any questions, additions, or comments on the minutes? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I wrote them. I don't know if I should.
You can.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are accepted. Next thing is we have accounts payable for our last meeting of the year. They total $5,375.66. The following people were paid: sewage work, $15; Crossroads Engineering, $36.50; Borgman Enterprises, $13.80; Peters and Consultants, $200.66; and Lewis Caps, $130. Any questions on the bills? If not, I'd ask a motion to approve payment of the bills.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll let Ron sign that. So, do you have anything to say, Mr. Mayor? Well,
Shared pen.
Good evening, Commission. The St. Francis property is going well. All the buildings now are down that are going to be taken down. Now they are breaking it all down and reclaiming almost all of it. They had 3 tanks, underground tanks, that housed fuel oil. Those have been removed, and they were required to take 3 tests, and they've taken their final test, which they wanted to get down under where the tanks were. And all 3 of those tests came back well within the threshold for residential use, so they're turned out very well. So now they continue with the foundation and removal, and they're ahead of schedule. So barring a bad winter, they should be doing real well come spring. The council approved the RDC budget for 2018. I really appreciate the work that the RDC has done, and I think it's safe to say that it never used to be that way. But it needs to be the way that you're doing it. It's transparent and much more responsible with spending. The Churchman Sidewalk project has concluded. Hats off to you folks. You were a participant in that, and it's a really nice improvement. And it came in on time, and it came in under budget. And that's a good use of federal tax dollars. So I'm very happy about that. Today, they started working up on North Bend. We're going to mitigate a drainage problem that's been around for over 50 years. So they'll be up there for a couple of weeks. And then we meet with the engineers a week from Thursday to talk about the next project, which is Mann Drive, Churchman Avenue, and Killian Drive. We're going to do some drainage work there that's been around forever. One of the great things about the Churchman Sidewalk project was it was also a stormwater drainage project. And we corrected a major drainage problem on that road. And what we did also is when you go down Churchman Avenue, it turns into Churchman Bypass, and Old Churchman turns off. In that area where the stormwater pipe is, we had them core a hole in the, one of the drains, and we put a 8-foot piece of pipe in there, and then we sealed it. So now, in this next drainage project, we'll tap into that pipe that we had them put in and run it over to Churchman Avenue, and we'll be able to fix a major drainage project that's been there for a long, long time. And I would imagine if we go out there tonight after the meeting, there's water standing everywhere out there. So we're looking forward to correcting that problem. On the 22nd of November, we will be turning in application for more funding for Phase 2 of the Greenway. That's to go behind the high school. We'll be applying for funding for Thompson Road sidewalks. And this is kind of a unique situation. And we'll also be applying for funding for the total reconstruction of Elm Street from 4th to 9th. For whatever reason, the Department of Transportation has declared that Elm is a thoroughfare. And, well, we all know it's about a 3-block road. But what it does, with that declaration, it opens it up for federal funding. So we are going to apply for what they call a complete street project, where that we go in there and we take the road completely out, take all the curbs out, take all the sidewalks out, take all the driveway approaches out, and basically start over. So we're going to be applying for funding for that. So whether we get that or not, I'm not sure, but we're going to make them tell us no, like we do on everything. At the council meeting Monday night, the council heard a presentation from Power and Light on streetlights. You guys have already acted on this concerning Emerson Avenue, but they're going to, they made a proposal to the city to change all of their streetlights to LED over the next 3 years. It's going to cost the city about $100,000 next year and the following 2 years for a total of $300,000. However, they estimate that the city will save somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000 a year in electricity cost. So after time, it will pay for itself, and then we'll see an added benefit with reduced cost and better lighting, actually. So, and I don't know how long ago you guys did Emerson Avenue, but we have yet to change a bulb. And we were changing those things all the time. They just wouldn't last. So it's a very good investment on the part of the RDC and the city. Next up is the roundabout. NDOT wants to move the roundabout to January of 19, so we're talking about that. So that's another good project. Spent some time with a lady that wants to open up the pastry shop on Main Street last week. She wants to be opened by sometime in December. It's right next door to Dee's Taps. That's where she's going to put it. Was in the building at 3rd and Main today, and that's where the local home brewery is going to be. They're doing some extensive work in there. And Ron, you live in that neighborhood, so sometime in the next couple of days, you're going to start seeing some equipment show up. And they're going to park it in those parking spaces long enough to get it unloaded and then move it away. So I'm not sure when he wants to be open by the end of the year, but I don't see it. But that's going on. I had a meeting with the people that own the car lot. And it was we met for about an hour and a half, and they put their cars out and I put mine out, and I told them no different than the brewery guy and the bakery and whoever that I expect you to follow the rules. And if you're not willing to follow the rules, then I will instruct the police chief to enforce the laws.
Is that the lot on Emerson, the proposed lot, Dennis?
No, that's a different lot. This is the lot that's already there.
Okay, because I was going to mention something. There's a lot of traffic between those facilities across Maine.
Yeah,
There's cars moving through there. Sometimes they do U-turns. They've taken over the old Mascari Cleaners
yes,
Building. When I come to my house off Emerson, I will make a left off Emerson onto Main. On several occasions, you've got oncoming traffic. People are jaywalking, they're moving cars. You get halfway into a turn and you've got to stop, and you're afraid you're going to get T-boned by the northbound traffic on Emerson. And I'm thinking, I don't know who I need to talk to about that, but that's an accident waiting to happen because those folks aren't using crosswalks and they're oblivious to the situation that's developing with cars making a left off of Emerson.
all of those car lots up there are owned by the same company called Auto Nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And in that meeting was the police chief, and they have written them several tickets already, and they were advised that if their habits continue, then they would be declared a nuisance, and which would open them up for fines every time we go down there. Another problem that they have is that if you go mail a letter, you pull up to the mailbox and you put your mail in, then I always want to turn right in the alley by the auction.
By Heimels, yeah.
They park those cars in the alley.
Yes, they do.
And that's a no-no. And they've been told, they get tickets, every car that gets parked in the alley when the police go by, and there's one police officer who is a really stickler about it, they will write ticket after ticket after ticket on those vehicles. And pretty soon, those tickets are going to be like $2,500 a piece. We expect you to play by the rules. And now the other lot that you're talking about it's south of Brown's Garage.
Yes.
The guy who owns Brown's Garage sold his business to Auto Nerds. So I'm not going to talk about that. But the lot south of that, Ron, is a different company,
Okay.
entirely different. Car lot.
Yep.
I fought for over 4 months to stop that. I didn't want it. The two lots on the corner of Main have been there forever in 3 days.
Yes, they have.
I don't have a chance there.
Understand.
But I wanted to stop that lot south of Brown's because I felt that we have too many car lots. I'm going to lose that battle. And I didn't get any help from the city of Indianapolis. How it was very easy to stop that was Emerson Avenue is under the control of the city of Indianapolis.
Right.
In order for them to have that business there, they needed to get a curb cut off of Emerson Avenue. And if I called the city of Indianapolis once, I called them, I don't know how many times, telling them as mayor of the city of Beech Grove, I do not want that curb cut there because that business is not good for that neighborhood, in my opinion. Well, lo and behold, the city of Indianapolis granted a curb cut. So my ship started taking on water, and I can't stop it. They're getting ready to get their permits, and so
Who
we're
makes
gonna,
that decision within the city of Indianapolis?
I think it's Metropolitan Development, I think,
They're all about the money.
yeah. And, so I lost that battle, so, but just move on down the road. But
I was going to ask you if there's any progress on the old Beech Grove Meat Market. I know we've talked about that before.
there is.
Good.
I was gonna report on that. Carnac, I was gonna report on that.
Okay,
Yes, there is.
good, good.
And the compliance people talk to the people who own it, and they have finally having a general contractor come in, and they are going to produce blueprints of what they propose to do so they can submit it to the state of Indiana.
Good.
And then, once they get through that, then they can go. The whole problem with the project, and I may have told you this before, was they went in and they bought the property at an auction. And for those who have been around a long time, that building forever was a furniture store. Then it was auto parts, meat market. It was always considered to be a normal business, a B occupancy by the state of Indiana, fire marshal's office. So you had to follow those rules. When this group bought it, they wanted to change the building's occupancy to a restaurant, or the state of Indiana classifies that as an assembly occupancy. Those are different
Yeah.
rules.
Absolutely, sure.
So they have to apply to the Department of Homeland Security's Fire Marshal's Office for a permit to operate that restaurant, which calls for a submittal of plans for approval. They wouldn't do it. Their position was the mayor's picking on them, and we're not going to do it. The mayor doesn't want us on main streets, so we're local people, but that's not how it works. So now, they have finally gotten a contractor who's submitting plans to the state for review. My position is, if they would have done that at day one, they would have already been open.
Exactly.
Right.
But instead, they tried to
Circumvent it,
circumvent the.
sure.
And my thing to them too, and I told one of the owners, is if you are not going to follow the rules, then we're going to have issues here, because you're going to follow the rules. Once you follow the rules and you do it right, you become a legitimate business. And so that's just how it is. The bakery or the pastry shop next to Dee's, they followed the rules. This brewery guy followed the rules. And they're right on track. And if that group down there would have followed the rules, they would already be open for business. But now they're
Getting
getting
on
ready to
board,
go.
sounds
And
like.
it could be a really good thing.
Yes,
And the thought of the mayor not wanting them there, that's ludicrous. I just want it to be legitimate.
sure.
So, that's basically it. I mean, we received some funding from NDOT for next year, and at the next Board of Works meeting, we go ahead and start the process on another round of paving. So, we're doing really, really well with that. So, any questions?
I have one regarding, we had that meeting several months ago regarding the trailways. Remember, there were a bunch of us here? And then my notes said we were going to have a meeting in October, which I know we didn't. But Do we have a date for the next meeting?
No, but it's coming soon. We'll let everybody know.
Okay,
Because that is a requirement from NDOT.
right, I knew that.
There's 4 quarters to a project. That was the first quarter meeting. We're getting ready to have the second quarter,
Okay,
and then we just go from there. Yes, every 3 or 4 months leading up to the beginning of the project, NDOT will require a meeting
okay.
to see where everybody's at. Yeah. Yeah. One more thing, this is the last meeting for you folks, so I want to report back to I know Kathy and Ron are my appointments along with Ed, but Don and Jay are appointments of the council, and I want to update the council on who may be interested in serving again, who may not be. So, Jay, I understand through your wife you're moving?
Yes, we're moving down to Greenwood by our daughter.
Okay.
So if someone would like this position, I hate to give
Oh,
it
yeah.
up, but
The only thing I will do is advise the council.
yes.
It's a council position. Don, I would certainly hope that you stick around. There's too many good things going on here. Then Ron and Kathy and,
Yeah, I think we've got some synergy going
We
with
kinda do it for
the
the money,
incumbent
right?
members here that have been on board for a while.
so I will pass that on to the council, and certainly, Jay, I appreciate what you've done for the commission. And then Ed will not serve next year. I will appoint someone else to serve for Ed.
I think Kathy would like for you to appoint someone who would volunteer to be secretary at this point.
I was gonna nominate you.
She's done her tour of
Well,
that now over the
I'm
last.
not-
Anybody interested that I appoint cannot be secretary.
We're just in it for the money.
Yeah.
Retirement 401K.
Yeah.
All right, thank
I gotta
you.
retire on my paycheck here.
I'm with you. As the mayor pointed out, Monday, we did submit the budget. The budget had the 30,000 for the Greenway, and then we put money to at least have the idea of starting the beautification. So I don't really have a lot other than that. We're done till January, whatever day I said was like 11th, I think.
I have something. I have a meeting, and anybody else that wants to go, next Wednesday at the Starbucks across from the Walmart at 9 o'clock. I'm meeting with the gentleman I told you about from the Speedway RDC about helping us compose a letter for when people want to come to us. It's a form letter that they would need to fill out and give back to us in order to come and approach us about monies for whatever their cause. So if anybody wants to meet me, Starbucks at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. His name is Scott Harris, and he used to be the president of the Speedway RDC. Now he does consulting work, but he volunteered to come to Beech Grove. I said I'd go to Speedway. He said, no, I'm going to be out and about, so.
9 o'clock on Wednesday.
Yes. And if that's a bad time, he said he could switch it to the afternoon, but we tentatively made it for 9 o'clock.
Do you know what 2 resolutions they were talking about, Robert?
That we're missing?
9 and 12.
6 and 9.
I brought 9 and 12 down here today.
And I sent them 10 and 12, and then one that was unnumbered that I didn't know what it was.
I have one at home that's
Okay.
unnumbered, but I brought 9 and 12, and Debbie copied them and sent me home with the ones I had.
I
Okay,
gave
so then
them
we're good to
10.
go with
They
them.
asked for 9 and 10, so I gave them 10, if you gave them 9, then
I did.
So if you give them 6 through 12, and I give them 1 through 6, that should cover.
I have some at home in my file that have no numbers.
I sent them one that was unnumbered. It was the match,
All right.
the local community match one didn't have a number.
I thought that was 12, but anyway, nonetheless, I think they've got what they need now.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
I mean, she said thank you and seemed happy, so.
Well, that's half the battle.
Anyway, 9 o'clock Starbucks next Wednesday. If that changes, I would let everybody know. I don't want you to show up and us not be there. But if anybody has any ideas, Robert, what you want in this form letter, I told him why we needed it.
Yeah, maybe I can bring materials to just kind of compare.
I never got a response from Southport. I contacted them a long time ago and got nowhere with Southport RDC.
I didn't even know they had one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a friend of mine used to be on it, but she has since retired and moved to Florida.
Well, this weather, I can't blame her.
Say they got that building demolished and the lot cleaned up. They opened up that old furniture store into an office building, but now half the time it looks empty.
Yeah.
So
Are you talking
I'm
about
not sure
Gertz? Yeah.
how fast they're going.
Well, I saw where the Kroger down on County Line is going to become a weekends-only furniture store.
We need more mattress stores.
And, well, I mean, I'm just thinking, you know, it kind of kills me. They're building a new strip mall next to that new Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
And the old Kroger and that whole mall across it sits abandoned. Probably a great place for a flea market.
Oh,
We could always use another.
Yeah, maybe you get a tattoo parlor and a payday loan place to top it off.
Pawn shop.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, like I say, you know, long term, that Churchman Avenue thing we gotta deal with that. That place is just dragging down the city. You know, a huge flea market and the businesses in there are, you know,
It's a lot of money.
I know.
It's a lot of money
you mean to tear it down?
to buy it.
Oh, to buy it, yes, I'm sure.
Didn't you
Well, look
indicate
at the
that we could have
location.
had it for a song a few years
Primo.
ago?
You know, I remember how the Ramada Inn went to, you know, and they ended up putting the Lowe's in there. I mean, that place just hurts the city of Beech Grove, in my opinion. The way it looks, the way it's kept, the parking lot's coming apart. You get a good cold winter and that parking lot's gonna come apart more. I mean, the only redeeming business there is the bank. I take it back, the Mexican restaurant. We like that little Mexican restaurant. It used to be the Noble Romans. They've got good food, but, you know, the rest of it's just an armpit and it hurts the city. That's my thoughts, but, well, I don't have a lot, so if not, I would say, let's make a motion to adjourn. Wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and, we'll be back at the start of the year to try ambitious new projects and keep the city going forward.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:37.